Today, we're going to meet Anant Agarwal, founder and CEO of edX and professor of MIT. Anant, thank you very much for visiting virtually Bocconi University.
Oh, it is such a pleasure for me to visit with friends from Italy. Thank you very much for having me.
Anant, so basically edX started almost 10 years ago as an initiative between Harvard and MIT, offering primarily massive online open courses. Can you share with us how it evolved over time?
We started in early 2012 when we launched the first course from MIT by my colleagues and myself in circuits and electronics. And that first course had 155,000 students from 162 countries. Since that time, we have grown tremendously, and I can point to two dimensions of our growth. One is growth in numbers, and second is growth in innovation. In terms of numbers, we have today grown to over 37 million learners from every single country in the world. We've also grown in terms of the number of our institutional partnerships. We have 170 top university and corporate partners who are working with us. Some of these universities include MIT, Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, Berkeley, Stanford, Tsinghua, Peking University from China, IIM Bangalore, and IIT Bombay from India. So we've grown tremendously in our partnerships. We've also grown in terms of content. Today we have over 3,000 courses and programs and degrees on the platform. We've grown all the way from courses to full degrees in topics like humanities, languages, data science, business, computer science, and so on. And we have learners all the way from 4 years of age to 98 years of age on our platform. The second big dimension of growth for us has been in innovation, where we've innovated very heavily in thinking about the future of work and education and reimagining education, where we've created a whole new class of modular credentials that can stack up to leading towards full degrees even.
So innovation and growth. Now, Anant, COVID-19 has acted as an impressive accelerator for technology education. And more or less, we count about $4 billion investments in the sector. And I would like to hear your opinion about the future.
COVID-19 has been a disaster for the whole world. However, it has created some amazing changes and disruptions in education, where the whole world went from learning and working completely in person. In March of last year, we went to learning and working fully remotely and online. This change has made a huge impact for all of EdTech. At edX, for example, in the month of April of 2020, after COVID hit, the enrollments in edX online courses went up exponentially. We enrolled learners at a rate that was 10 to 15x, 10 to 15-fold larger than the month of February. Not 10 to 15%, but 10 to 15 times. So as an example, in the month of April alone, we had 5 million new students from all over the world register on edX, and that equaled the 5 million number from all of 2019. So we saw a huge uptick in enrollments in courses on the platform, and this trend, although not at the same level, has created a new plateau where we're still seeing a large number of learners come to our platform to learn online.
So these numbers are really impressive. They reminded me about Satya Nadella that said last summer that 3 months of pandemic were 3 years of digital transformation. Now, of course, it's been a year and the numbers are clearly here that demonstrate further the impact of digital transformation also in the technology and education. Anant, what do you think about sustainable education? Can we have in the future sufficient scale to target it, or is just a myth?
education is a human right. Everybody in the world should have access to education like the air we breathe. But unfortunately, a large number of people in the world do not have access to either education because it is too expensive, or in many cases, it is very poor quality. I think by bringing digital technology to education, like we have done, for example, with Edtech, we can increase education all over the world at massive scale, either fully online for a lot of people or blended for universities where students come to campus. We can improve education in scale. Already on edX, 37 million learners are learning on our platform. And then if you look at the broader ecosystem that we have created with our open source Open edX platform, over 100 million learners are already learning using that platform. As many countries have launched national platforms using Open edX. France, for example, with France Université Numérique, the Swiss national platform, Hong Kong, Russia, China. Many countries have launched national platforms, Israel, using Open edX. So we can definitely increase education and scale in a big way around the world. At the same time, we can also improve education and quality by bringing blended learning into campuses where students see a mix of online and in-person learning. And to facilitate that, edX has launched edX Online Campus, which is a way for universities to sign up their students to take courses online. And this offering is available to all universities around the world completely for free. So if you're a university, you can sign up all of your students to take our online campus essentials courses completely for free.
This example of blended is extremely interesting, and I would like you to elaborate a little bit more on the collaboration between platforms and universities. And I would like particularly to remark a typical element that is raised by old school professors that believe that, of course, the campus experience for students in traditional universities is really crucial, and they are concerned about digital learning. So blended is a great example that you mentioned. Can you share with us other ideas and other innovations that you are introducing that blend the experience on campus with what platforms like edX offer?
Sure. I've been teaching at MIT for more than 30 years. And generally, faculty and students were concerned before COVID about whether online learning was for them. But after the pandemic, everybody got into online learning, 100%. And when the pandemic is over, as we get inoculated and continue on with our lives, online learning will be here to stay. The new normal for education on campuses will be blended learning, where we will settle down to some blended normal where roughly 50% might be online, roughly 50% might be in person. So the future of education on campuses, this new normal, is going to be blended. And the pandemic, COVID-19, is a big reason why that we will be so. And we are creating a number of innovations to help this kind of learning model. One example is new kinds of modular stackable credentials. We have launched micro bachelor's and micro master's credentials that facilitate various forms of blended learning. So take the micro master's, for example. A micro master's is about 30% of a master's degree. A learner can sign up easily without any applications process and complete it. And if they pass, they get a micromaster's. For example, they could earn a micromaster's in data science from MIT, and the fee for the credential is about $1,000 to $2,000. Then, if they want to get a full degree, they can apply to the campus or to an online degree program. And if they get admitted, then they can complete the full degree and apply the credits to the full degree. So this is a modular, stackable form where one part of the degree is fully online, the MicroMasters, and then the remaining part could be fully on campus. It's a way of blending. We've also launched a new product called edX Online Campus that any university could sign up for free that will enable this form of learning where learners can be learning online and also in person on campuses.
So plenty of innovations to come. That's extremely fascinating and interesting for people working in the sector and for future students. Anant, one last question is about the core differences that you foresee between universities and schools, because of course, e-learning and distance learning is also crucial for schools. What are the core differences that you see between these two broad sectors?
The students in schools are a lot younger. And if students are in high schools, I don't see a big difference between learning, whether in college or in schools. We have almost 5 to 10% of our learners are coming from high schools. We have about 50 to 100 courses that are in topics at the high school level. And so many students are completing micro bachelors or courses whose credits might apply to a bachelor's degree later. However, for children that are much smaller, the presence of a teacher in person can be very important. The presence of other students can also be very important in person. And so I think that for very young students, if they are 5, 6, 7, 8 years of age, the degree of in-person learning needs to be higher. But as they grow older, there can be a more balanced mix of in-person and online learning. Don't forget that our children are digital natives. They are very comfortable spending all this time with their smartphones or their iPads and so on, and watching YouTube videos and learning online. And so these digital natives are completely comfortable learning online. And so, but I do believe that when they're very young, you do need a lot more in-person interaction with other students as well as with teachers. But as they grow older in college and go on to work, a bigger fraction of their learning could be easily done online.
This makes a lot of sense, and you're absolutely right. I have 2 kids, and I really believe that these guys are really, digital natives, and in the future they will have also a different way to interact in terms of physical and digital. But this makes a lot of sense, and I would like to really thank you very much for your words of wisdom. And let me invite you, when the pandemic is over, of course, to visit the Bocconi campus. I know that you have come to Italy several times, and I look forward to hosting you in Milan.
Oh, thank you very much. I really look forward to coming to Milan. And my wife and I remember a beautiful time that we had driving around the Lake Como, which is not very far from Milan. And I would love to come back again. Thank you. Thank you for having me.